I call this one Carbuncle Chaos. So yeah, I don't know where to start with this, to be honest. It's a fairly big project, but not as big as Pokemon Village for some reason. I would have expected that to be larger. I think it is actually, but it's just one of those things. It took me a while to make. There's different versions of it which I'm quite happy with, to be honest. That and yeah, I'll show you like each individual part. So let's start with the obvious background image. That's how it looks, really, and I don't do the grass there because it's on the character bit for some reason. I don't know why I decided to do that, but sure. But I notice mistakes every now and then, like you got bits of pixelated shit up there. Still not satisfied with it, how it looks overall. The clouds look okay. Get on this really to try to colour it as well a bit. Dark could have been better, but I don't know how to do that. Grass could have been better, I don't know how to do that either. Tree looks perfect, but I don't know. Can't do anything else. And obviously we've got the main show of this. I play Carbuncle Chaos. Yeah, I pretty much fell in love with this at the moment. I started giving them character because I was thinking I want to make this as goofy as possible. This is like my dream image at this point for Final Fantasy XIV fan art. Literally had it written down for you since like last year, late last year actually. And I've been figuring out a way to try and make it, and I wasn't sure because obviously I had to draw it and stuff, and I'll explain that later. But I've actually made it, and I had some ideas. I figured things out. I organised it. Got the Emerald Carbuncle as well, the very elusive one. And obviously the mats, which might be interesting. Especially love these two. Because I was looking at like a fox fight and I was thinking what's the way you can make it even funnier? By spitting. That's one of the best ways of blowing raspberries. Just pretty goofy. And the blue one looks pretty offended. I can't remember the blue one's name actually. It's not Citrine, is it? I can't remember. So you've got the Topaz Carbuncle mount just summoning the Titan. It's me, Mr. Raider, my Final Fantasy XIV character. The Emerald, Ruby Carbuncle, the Topaz one, and there's no one. Yeah, and I got the idea as well a bit from having been around rescue animals myself. There's a bit of a story around this. I've pretty much grown up with animals, dogs mainly, also been cats. But to be honest, that's it. I'll say animals, but that's really about it. And then with dogs, we have rescue dogs, and not necessarily growing up with them, but living with them is it's a blast. At times it can be hard, but it can be quite funny. And one of the things they do is if they're really excited, they would just pull. In fact, our first dogs actually did that. Sometimes they'll do something funny, they like bite it, and other dogs do that. They bite the leads. They do something random, they take a piss, and sometimes they'll fight. So this literally represents like a part of my life at least, which is interesting. Sure, I have to go through like individual bits, so I'll just go from bottom to top, I think, in terms of what to show. So let's see. Start with the background, I think. So yeah, there's quite a bit going on here. I think the sky is one of the most interesting bits. Did I do it separate? No, okay. Start seeing it naked for the first time. There's clouds here. Did it as I usually did. I have a tutorial on this. It's not too difficult. So I did like the gradient for the actual clouds here. And I did it with a soft brush instead, so it's better than using a gradient because you get some tone there and you get like a circular effect. If you look in far enough, you see that. And it's quite interesting regardless. I'll do like that, and then obviously I get the clouds in, I drew them individual layers to make sure I got it right. And there's some mistakes as you can see, but that's because it's covered up by the limited element. So it's actually, I think it's middle militia. I can't remember now. I always forget the name. It has to be middle militia. As long as it feels alive, it would be the island sanctuary place. I can't remember the name now. Yeah, I got like cloud grading on there as well to give it colour. So add something, and I did try and experiment with a dark tone. Don't know about these things on here. It didn't really work that well. It isn't supposed to look like that, by the way. Why is it locked? Okay. But basically I experimented with darkening it a bit. That's because it's on subtract, that's why. I was experimenting again with different types. I just scroll through these and eventually you come on something like that. Which actually looks really vibrant. Looks like an oil painting then. Holy crap. I gotta remember that in combination with the gradient. Even then. Jesus. That might be better than the original. Well, that sucks. But it's very easy to do as well, I think. So I don't know, like, this is like just darken, so select the clouds and then darken in real time. Oh, gradient. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I think because I made some edits after it's off, looks a bit different. I don't know. Then I'll set back up the clouds every now and then. Just like the stock ones. I only did that for one layer for some reason. That's the clouds. Simple enough. Then we get onto the grass sort of area. Not really much to look at here. I think it's decent. I got the feel in the back, under the rocks for some reason. It should be down here, technically speaking. Separated from the group. I'm not sure. There we go. So that surely appears. So yeah, not much to say about the grass. I just used the grass block brush here, whatever this one is. And I also used another one to make the more outlined bit here with DV grass. I don't know what these packs are a part of exactly. And that is just with the noise brush. I tried other things. I tried the textured brush for like rocks, which is on the bottom of my brush palette for some reason. Somewhere. Can't find it for some reason. It used to be there. It used to be under this brush instead. There it is, texture brush. But I don't know. Didn't really work. Eventually when I got to rocks I did it for that. Sort of worked. I sort of copied the default like rock brush because I didn't want to use like other people's assets like mass. Didn't really feel fair. The tree I took inspiration from a reference image, which actually, where is that? Where's the bloody reference image? Images rather. I don't know. No. What the hell? Okay, I had a reference image, trust me on this. There it is, references. Yeah, this. I think it's AI, but I can't be too certain. It does look kind of hand-drawn here and there. And these parts feel a bit real. It certainly does seem like a brush has been over this rather than an AI. Like on that. Pure texture is fucking amazing. I just love the shape of it rather. I did copy some sort of colours from this to try and make it work. Also did try to copy the clouds, but I suck at making clouds still. But it's the best way you can make them. As I said, I have a tutorial on this, so I won't explain how I did it. It's not that lengthy, it's about 5 minutes. In reality, I'll make it 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, I'll use quite a few references on it, and I'll go into them after if I can remember. I'll keep that up just in case, maybe no. But anyway, let's turn on feel. The limps is kind of interesting. I just traced over a screenshot I had. I have the references. I couldn't just go along as I do with that. If I can find it. Yeah, there's like reference screenshot here and there. I did try a different angle because I wasn't too sure about this one. This is a secondary one and it just didn't really work for me. I was mainly doing it to get the sort of lighting as well. and I couldn't do that, so I did experiment with adjusting the image. This is also the original I based it on, so quite different. But I tried using different effects like tonal correction. I think pasteurize is one of the terms, I can't remember. But this is the actual original, and I, for some reason, enlarged myself. I don't know why. I've moved myself rather, and that's why the tree is in such a weird position. The image has moved along a bit, so it's not entirely accurate. It's more like here. So if I was to turn it off and on again, where am I? What am I doing here? Yeah, sort of see it coming on. But it has to go without saying I've traced. Obviously, it's pretty much impossible to draw in my current state of what I have. I'm not a good artist. I suck. I suck at most things. So that's what I did. Anyway, we go on to the characters, which is certainly the more interesting part. So this is without post-processing. I do have a separate post-process for the background version, which is fine. Just where I cut out a lot of the bloom effects, because that's mainly what it is. Yeah, I found this interesting. There's also some interesting references to this part. I wonder if that shows, yeah it does. So I get rid of that and that, and I can start going through these. So with the carbuncles, I struggled to draw. This is based on the one that was in the image, and I managed to make it perfectly. Don't know how, but I even managed to get the leg right. And you know, it's kind of hard for me to do that. I don't really draw animals. I used to draw Pokemon, but that was it. The Pokemon were a bit different, especially Eevee and stuff. The same sort of like back leg, quadruped, I think. So let's see the other thing with this. What am I doing? Just a second. Yeah, going through the references. So I tried using screenshots at first, and this wasn't efficient. Because it didn't really help, and this sort is what I used for Emerald Carbuncle. And it kind of worked, surprisingly. It wasn't perfect. So obviously I needed to try something else later, and you'll see that. I'll see reference to Doggy, reference the mounts as well. But I eventually got onto Model Viewer. This is the thing. I was also experimenting with different types of ways to make the Carbuncle. So I was thinking this maybe for the summoning, but didn't really work. Well, actually no, I use this for this. Duh, it's like almost traced. Yeah, used it for the review. But the model viewer is really handy. I do have the source up here. It's from Vampire, I believe. I also have the list of things. I did have a list of the things to do on here, but for some reason it's not there. The background color palette, found by model viewer, the color lines for Cardi's over here. Yeah, I realised on my artwork I could make it better by colouring the lines. So I did that. I made like customised lines. I usually do dark red, but it makes it too obvious. It doesn't really fit in, and so I ended up doing that instead. So that's where I got that idea. I looked at other people's artwork and saw they use those, so about this is the proto version for this Tyson summoning. It's also the sniffer, pretty much traced. I did change the length of things to make it a bit better. What else? There's a mount again. That's the one for that, which is interesting. Titan. Mount. Just copy the colours and stuff, and then there's this for the blue one, the Bahamut Carbuncle, and then there's this which I did try to use for the walking, but it wasn't great. Although actually, no, I did use that, didn't I? I tried to make the Emerald Carbuncle cheerful and stuff, so that kind of worked. And then what's this? I'm sure what that one's about. I think I was just experimenting. I was looking at different types. I was thinking of having a Carbuncle sit down like this. The model viewer has some good animations on it, which I never even knew existed. Oh, and the Titan accident. This is just the idle animation for Titan, for the Summon Titan. It's the same picture. You could tell. So I ended up not using that. And I was thinking of having my Carbuncle doing a shit, but it felt a bit gross, and so I just do the one I'm more familiar with. I find funny. The pissing, and then there's obviously the Titan. Tried to copy the hand as best as I can. Didn't do well. For this, well, I tried the Titan screenshot before, but it didn't really help me. There's also Mr. Radio, you just saw sneak peek. Screenshots of Carbuncle. Yeah, the Fox is Gekking TV. I've found that on YouTube. From Gekking YouTube Geckering. Yeah. That's what I tried to copy, but in the end I decided on this. It's better. So that's certainly interesting. Yeah, I did think about having I copied the head. I was trying to do their face for some reason. So I ended up copying that. And also removed the ears and put that on the hoodie instead, make it more casual. That's the entire point of this walk, and then it turned into chaos. Yeah, this is what I tried with the screenshot, the image manipulation. Fuck. Manipulation, pasteurization, colour balance, brightness, contrast. So that didn't work. I was trying to make them anime-like, and it didn't work. So that's the references and stuff. Not really much else to say on the Carbuncle, so again, it's mainly traced, as you could tell. And other details, shadows are at 50% to make it more defined. I'm not sure if that's too exaggerated. I would say I backed up some bits here. Did a boundary. Oh yeah, that's like drawing Mr. Vader. Because I did this by hand. I did the legs by hand, did the arms by hand too. So there's a big risk, really. My arms are probably a bit too short, to be fair. And the backups and everything. Yeah, this is the original for the Argo and Carbuncles, but as you can see, I think one's a lot better than the other. That's why I trace these things, it's really out of necessity. There's original walking Carbuncle, kind of casual-like. Yeah, not really that good in my opinion. Shite. Never use that. Did marks for things. Yeah, I wrote down where everyone was. Blue, large blue, large red, large topaz. Yeah, and there's a bigger backup for stuff. This is the original, isn't it? What was it? Changed the eyes a bit, I believe. Did I? Sort of. Actually, I changed it a bit. I can't grab it for some reason. Oh, for fuck's sake, Clip Studio. For Christ's sake. I can't. I think it's because it's the. No, it can't be. No, do nothing. I can't grab it, so it's unfortunate. Good. That doesn't help. Yeah, there's a backup of me. Another backup of the walking one. This one with eyes closed. I didn't really back up this one. I did change the lead position as well. I've got the leads there. Yeah, we also use like harnesses growing up with the dogs because it was a bit easier on them. It didn't strangle them, but you could also have full control as well. So it helps. I recommend that for any animal. Then we've got effects. Yeah, I've got grass over the feet to add the detail. Didn't do a very good job of it though. Just sort of adds extra detail there. Shadows, I wasn't good at this. This Carbuncle was a bit of an abomination. Mr. Raider's a bit of an abomination. That one's okay. This one's okay as well, you can barely see it, it's like the legs there. This one there. Shadows here, a bit of an abomination too. Well, they could be a lot better, but I'm not gonna bother at this point. There's no fucking point. I'm just bad at shadows, as simple as that. I did sparkles, I meant to redo the sparkles I did, and this is what came out. What brush should I use for that? Yeah, I also did this fur effect on it. Did it for the shadows, I did it for the outlines. It took a while, but it paid off in my opinion. Very detailed. And what was the brush? It's like Dead Stars or something? Where is it? I passed it. Star brush. I believe that was it, yeah, has to be. That's the last one, the first one with it. What else? Sparkle. I did a Carbuncles, I backed it up as well, so basically I highlighted the outline and then drew over it with a lighter colour of their own, and that's where I ended up with the glow. And it sort of works. It works for everything there. And the bloom, the post-processing as well. So I did a glow effect as well. The glow looks nice, but it does this. Absolutely blinds you. So it's just kind of not worth it. So that stays at 10. And background bloom, again, it's just extra effect, and I've cut around here with the carbuncles. Yeah, it's a bit bright, but it also adds to the image. It sort of looks more anime-like, and then some rays just went over with a brush and Gaussian blurred. All this bloom is with Gaussian blur too. And yeah, that's the image. Like, there isn't much else to say on this. It's pretty crazy. It took me a good 2 months, I think, to complete. If I'm not mistaken. When did I can check the creation date actually. I named it something stupidly different for some reason. This modified, it's not what I want. Thanks. So I need to do something, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, I need to unpin it from Studio, because I've done obviously. I might work on my mascot now. I save time actually. That's a smart idea. I was looking at properties. Where is it? Date created. 21st. What? Oh, it's because it fucking. Oh yeah, stupid cloud system. Doesn't like when I save Clip Studio Paint images there. And so it recreates it. So I don't know when I started it exactly. It's 149 megabytes big. Yeah, but I'm happy with it. It does its thing. It's an image. I'll upload it at some point. And all of the other images, I'll probably do that around lunch. So I'll have to remind myself of the things there. I wish I could. I can make stacks in Vivaldi. So upload Carbuncle Chaos. I'm not sure how viral it will go exactly. I'm hoping it does somewhat go viral, but I'm also not that hopeful. Given my history of artwork and stuff, people don't really like it, and I don't really have anything to say about it really. And I'm just shit, and I forgot to do a shadow of the insert, but it actually doesn't matter because it's so far away. Yeah, also did the sea in this as well, I forgot to say. The sea was almost a consideration, but because of the angle, no point. It was impossible to do. Yeah, but I think it's as good as it can be, in my opinion. It's pretty peak for what I've done as well, compared to like Pokemon Village, which I did before this, and what did I do before that? Oh, it's an animation, wasn't it? Tails and Cream animation. Yeah, I think this is probably as good as I'm going to get in terms of anime backgrounds and even just character. I'm not used to doing character artwork, genuinely struggle. I didn't show off the grass texture. I went over that grass block. I tried to. It gives it a bit of life. Adds like shadow and stuff. And also do it brighter. And also add a gradient on it. I forgot to mention that. So there's a gradient over the grass where I added different colours. And it did have an effect, I think. Let's turn off characters quick if I can. I need to hurry because I need to go somewhere soon. Yeah, also have the background bloom there. Maybe that's back up. Yeah, that's like background bloom, but that colour's in there. Where is it? Where's? There it is. So this thing. And it adds some brightness, but it also adds some character to it. Because this is the thing with artwork. If it's just a plain colour all along, it wouldn't be as interesting. That's why you see the differentiation of things here. But if I was to go up like that, it turns into something different. You go from, what is it, were we in the first and then the source? It looks a bit like Lakeland, a bit. Yeah, it certainly adds an effect for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, so not too much to complain about, surprisingly. usually have a lot more to say. It turned out alright in my opinion. I'm curious to know what other people think, if there is anything to think about it. Yeah. Also, I do complain about clowns a lot in games and in artwork. I hate when people do blurry clowns. They're fucking terrible. Especially when there's like highly detailed characters and stuff. It just doesn't match, and this is why my style sort of works the way it does. You got decent details here and there. It's like the gimmick with art is you don't know where to place your eyes when it's good artwork. When it is, you can stare at something and think, okay, that's not great. So it does have an impact, in my opinion. So anyway, I've had to fucking move on. Hopefully you enjoyed. Put downloads in the description, you'll see. Yeah, thanks for watching.